Okay, welcome back to my video series on Paititi Explained. This is video number 3. Last video we looked at the Andres Lopez map of Paititi that was found in the Vatican archives. You can see there's the site, and these were the features that I added and what I can see, and compared it to this map. And as you can see, very similar. Okay, so that's some evidence saying that this is a likely chance of this being the site. So today I'm going to focus on some more evidence that was found in the Vatican archives of the same year. And this was by a Jesuit called Blas Valera. Now, I'm not going to go into the history of him and what he did, but just quickly, I'll just say that although he was a Jesuit, let's just say he was very sympathetic to the Incas and their history, and he did some incredible works, paintings, drawings, writings, so as not to lose all the history of Peru and the Incas. He was very controversial. Many people don't believe his writings, but looking at these drawings of Paititi that I'll show you soon, I think he was either there or he knew somebody who was there, and he recreated the scenery and the main things are there on this site. Now, he has 2 drawings / paintings of Paititi. This was the view from the Amazon side. So it's a view from the east, looking back towards directly west. Okay, so you got those peaks there. We have the lagoon, or river I should say. In this case it's the Rio Timpia. Okay, flowing past this site. It's a large circular site. As you can see, there's many little drawings down the bottom, down here. Now, I've got no doubt these are all geoglyphs, because I will show you some things in the jungle that appear to be geoglyphs. They're very hard to make out, obviously with 500 years of jungle growth since then has taken over, but you can still make out certain shapes. Now, this is the view from the west, looking back to the east. They call this the Andean view. Obviously from the mountains looking back towards the jungle, which would be in the far distance in this drawing. Now, as you can see, it's taken from the exact opposite side of this. And I'm not sure if they're 2 drawings or he drew them back to back, because as you can see, I can see the puma there, perched on that mountain on the other side, which is this. Okay, so that's the reference for that mountain from the other side, this puma here. And this condor type shape is on the next mountain across. And we'll have a look and see if we can actually see that in a second. Now, as you can see here, we have these mountain peaks, and what appears to be either a trail or a bridge going from one side across to the other, and then coming down towards the stream. Seems to be some sort of path going up under this bridge, which leads up into a cave. Okay, and there appears to be a puma on top, holding some sort of gold sun disc. Now what that's indicating, I'm not sure. Whether it's saying there's treasure buried in this cave, that's yet to be determined. Okay, down here appear to be like little canoes, but I'm not exactly sure if they are, because looking at this stream, when we go to the satellite imagery in a second, it does not look navigable, unless it was 500 years ago. There was less rocks and boulders in there, but I find that hard to believe that they actually brought their canoes up here. Maybe this was as far as they could go. I don't think they could go any further upstream. It gets very rocky up there. And over here looks like another little cave. And I'll explain what I think that is too soon. On the other side of the bank, we have this rectangular area. We have some type of person here, maybe an indigenous person from a tribe over here with a bow and arrow. And I can show you what I think those are as well. What this rectangular chord here, I really don't know. I can show you some potential areas where I think that could be. And this looks like some sort of stone road going up the hill. And in the satellite imagery, this is heading up towards the geoglyph of Supe, so we might have a look up there as well. And there appears to be some type of well up there, which may indicate this down here. All right, so something I prepared earlier is what I think is based on this diagram. All right, let's have a look. Okay, so this is the site that I've showed you in previous videos. We've got the cave there at the top. What I believe, excuse my drawing, but it's I'm not an artist. I'll show you that in a second, but it appears there is a big geoglyph above this cave, and it appears to be a puma holding something, so we'll have a look at that in a second. Okay, so similar to this, we've got this stream coming in here that comes off the Rio Timpia. Obviously flows along. Something else I forgot to mention there, there's some little llama carvings into the wall, and I'll show you where they are. Stream comes along, and as you can see, there's another little stream that is actually flowing out of this cave. So there must be some type of spring in there. As this is a lot higher up than obviously further down. But there appears to be no lake or anything on top of this mountain, so I'm assuming there is a natural spring in there, which causes the water to run down here. Obviously join this other stream, which then flows over into the Rio Timpia. Okay, the rest of the stream is heading uphill here, and it goes up to where that lake is and the sun temple that I showed you previously. Now I can't actually see a trail coming down this mountain, and obviously I can't see any remnants of this hanging rope bridge that probably would have been here, and I can't see any remnants of this trail here. So I'm basically just using this yellow line just based on this to recreate what I think he was seeing. Okay, so he would have been sitting on this hill on this side, basically where this screenshot's taken from, looking back up towards the cave. Now, up here I said in the last one that I think this is where the city is. Okay, so I guess that would be where most of the buildings. Maybe the palace of the Inca king or emperor would be up here as well. And this would be the way they walk back down. Okay, this is still quite high here. It doesn't really show, but these mountains and this valley, tops of the mountains are a bit higher than it looks. So this might have been their way from going to town, down over here, and up to where Supé is. And obviously our trail would continue on up to the Temple of the Sun. Now, whether they could walk up on the edge of this riverbank here, I don't know. I'm not sure how steep it is. And whether they could walk up to the cave that way. I'll show you a bit later on when we do look more at the cave, but there appears to be a trail coming out of here of the cave that goes up into the city area. So whether they walked up here or not, I'm not sure. I do find it really interesting though that on the Andres Lopez map there's no sign of the cave. So whether he was not allowed to walk up into this area, I'm not sure. But that does not appear on his map, which is quite a large feature of this area, our main focal point. Okay. Now I'll just show you some other interesting things here. Alright, so we're back at the satellite imagery, back where I was just showing you. As you can see, here's the cave, this little valley going up. Now, as I was showing you before, we have these two figures down here. What probably is an Inca and an indigenous person. Now, there's a couple of possibilities with this. Down here, this may have been the rectangular area that we saw in Blas Valera's drawing. Obviously, it's now used for agriculture and clearing by, well, likely these tribe here. And there's their huts. Okay, so that's the nearest ones to this site. There's some tribes living around here as well. Okay, so they're clearing it for agriculture. And as you can see, I was talking about this river and it looks hardly ideal for travelling in a canoe. Very, very rocky, white water, boulders, rocks, etc. Okay. Now, what could be the Inca and the indigenous images that you see in that diagram of Blas Valera's? This has always fascinated me. I really don't know what that is. Is it a statue? I don't know. Is it just a shadow of a tree? I don't know. But that's a possibility right there. This is also a possibility. This is just on the riverbank. Look, it could possibly just be a landslide, but up here it appears to be a face, so that is another possibility. Now this is really interesting. Right at the entrance here to where the stream goes up to the cave, there appears to be something drawn here, okay, or carved into the stone. It seems to be like a human type figure. I personally think it's Supe, like the devil, as a warning for nobody to enter, okay, or whether it's the indigenous one with the bow and arrow, I don't know, but there's definitely some sort of person carved in there right at the entrance. It takes a while to see this. I saw many different carvings here when I first looked, and it takes a while to get used to it, but it's definitely a person. Okay. But who it's of, I don't know. Just my opinion. It's Supe, and it's just giving a warning, nobody to enter. What does it mean when they walk down here? And this was the way up to Supe, the geoglyph. Okay. All right. So, where I think the trail would have went, as I showed before, obviously comes up this way somewhere. It looks like this area has been cleared at some stage, as well as on the other side. So that's as good a guess as I can make that this would be where the hanging rope bridge would go across. There is something here unusual on the edge of this mountain. I have zoomed into this before on my photos, and there does appear to be a face there. I can't show you it right now, but this is just as good as I can get with the live satellite imagery here. Well, it's not live, sorry, it's just satellite imagery that I'm working on. But yeah, there's definitely a face there. So what that is, I'm not sure, but that would have been, I hope or assume, on the path going up and across to the other side. And then obviously it snakes its way up to the top here. Okay, now this is going to be hard to see at first. It took me quite a while to pick this up. There appears to be a geoglyph above this cave. Yes, it's very hard to see. It's definitely been cleared at some time, and there's regrowth there. Now, something I prepared earlier, and this is about my best attempt at drawing the geoglyph. I just basically drew over the outlines of what I could see, and there's a little circular shape here, and I just assume this would be the puma. Okay, which you can see there. Is it a puma? Is it a llama? I don't really know. But it's there, it's above a cave. Okay, and I can't see any sort of statue type things. So I'm going to assume it's a geoglyph. Okay. I think it has the head of a llama, the wings of a condor, and we have a serpent down here. Okay, or is it a puma and then a serpent? Alright, so we're going to go to the following mountain. This is one of the higher peaks in this area. So we move across to here. And again, there's a couple of alternatives here. Now this mountain has an unusual feature like this. Okay. Was that the head of the llama? And the condor wings coming off here? Or this up here looks more like it. Okay. And the head would be here. There's kind of a circular shape there. Wings coming down to here, and we have this snake coiled up at the bottom. Again, I'm only guessing, but it says there's that figure on this mountain, so I'm assuming it's either that or this. One or the other. Or is it something else? All I know is that condor shape is meant to be on this mountain peak here. That. As I said, difficult to say, and over 500 years, difficult to say. So that basically wraps up the evidence for the Blas Valera drawings/paintings based on satellite imagery. Okay, next episode I'm going to go through different parts of the site, starting at the entrance and what I can see. We'll talk geoglyphs, we'll talk statues, alignments, and everything else this place has to offer. Alright, see you next time.